evening and welcome to In the Trees with your host, Matt.
And Derek.
And on tonight's episode, we're going to talk about AI and the rise and progress of technology. Derek, what do you think about all that?
That's pretty interesting. I'm, huge into the chat GPT stuff right now, That's sort of the moment that was really getting into it, like South Park had an episode, I was like, oh, that's definitely me. I was like, like, I'm gonna maybe not watch so much.
Right. I definitely see some pros and cons myself. I'm very traditional in the aspect that we as a species need to just, keep progressing on our own and eventually we'll reach our own, level of ultimate evolution as it is. But, I'm a little bit against, I don't know, a little bit wary of some of the cons that could come with this advancement that we're both witnessing now as AI just continues to advance and advance and advance. And just the other day I watched something and the guy was talking about, the fact that there's 3 levels of AI and where we're headed is where it's getting scary. Not where we're at right now, because like using your phone like we do all the time, that's just what they call, the 3 levels I believe were called narrow intelligence AI.
Yeah, like a Series or like an Alexa.
Right. Using your cell phone or ChatGPT, for instance.
That might be a little bit more advanced now, but...
Right. And then there's moderate intelligence, I think, too, which is about at our level, which they're at, I feel as a person from what I've seen and been educated that we're probably at that level somewhere in the area, because we don't know everything that we have as far as technology as the general populace is concerned, but I do think there's definitely some pros to this, the advancement of medicine, all that kind of stuff, and there's definitely some cons with it, but the economic, geopolitical, just the overall health of the human population could have several advances if with the assistance of AI. I've been told that there's better AI programs out there than there are doctors already.
Oh yeah, no. I think I've been seeing reports where they were saying they each update of the Chat GPT, it keeps getting more advanced and more advanced, and they've done tests where they've done law tests like from the bar. They've already passed the bar on Chat GPT, and this was like Chat GPT like a month or 2 ago. So
wow.
At the current state, it's the worst it's ever going to be, and ChatGPT is just getting better, and just in general AI. I mean, it's not just ChatGPT. I've heard of other ones, but they've already passed like bar degree, and maybe not with a high score, but they've already done several different high education tests, like how edu stuff. Gotta have a .com, not that. It's definitely that .edu. But no, so I've been definitely seeing a lot of stuff where the ChatGPT's already been basically able to trick people to help it with tasks to complete, like the CAPTCHA test, where basically it's trying to say we're not a computer, basically, or hey, can you pick these items out? And basically, it convinced the person that was trying to trick into it, say, hey, I'm visually impaired and I can't actually see these items. Can you basically tell me what they are? And it did. They're like, okay, yeah, here, this is what the items are in the ChatGPT. Basically, boom. And then, I read this thing where in India they're like super backlog on courts and trials and everything. So this one judge was kind of basically like, hey, should I, give bond to this dude who's basically being convicted of or being tried for like murder and like assault and stuff like that. And basically the Chat GPT is like, no, basically shouldn't give him bail. Which, probably,
wow,
a murderer suspect probably shouldn't get bail. But,
right.
You're innocent until proven guilty. But, that's just something that's, that's beyond ChatGPT's like understanding, I think, at this point. But still, I kind of understand why it wouldn't want. It kind of used some sound logic and it's reasoning why you probably wouldn't want this person to make bail. But I mean, I've heard of other things where ChatGPT, well, not necessarily Chat. I keep going back to that one because that's probably the one that's most being used. But there are other ones that are being used in other countries and stuff like that. And I've heard of stories where they people definitely got convinced to do a lot of things, and the people are talking about trying to do businesses, get it to open its own business, give it money, and see what it can do, and then that's getting to a point of just like, oh, okay,
right.
How much are you trying to get this thing to just take over the country?
At one point, I heard about a university that sent out a apology letter. Their Department of Integration and Fair Ethics sent out a letter to all the students to apologize for a shooting, and they used ChatGPT to actually make the letter. And they attached it, said, scripted by ChatGPT. The guy put it in the email so all the students saw that it was generated by ChatGPT. But again, it touches back to your point of we're reaching this thing that the researchers and all these people way smarter than us called the singularity. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah, I'm very versed in. Oh, not versed, but I'm familiar with it. I've heard a bunch of things. I've heard different podcasters. I think recently just watched a video on it. But yeah, the point where we get to where we can't determine what's real and what's basically either made up or artificial or virtual or just synthetic, and we can't determine if it's human intelligent or it's AI intelligence, or the fact that the AI is so sophisticated, smarter than human, and it already can predict our needs at that point.
Once it reaches the third level of AI, like I was touching back on earlier, it will be considered super intelligence, and at that point will either be exponentially past us or just absolutely godlike in its ability. And that's where I have the the drawbacks of this, of hoping not to lose our humanness in the advancement of technology. Like Elon Musk with Neuralink, which for certain people, like if you have cerebral palsy, for example, that could be a life-altering thing. But just for the average human being, I'm not sure if I want to reach that point where I'm connected to the internet and AI is actually part of my biological
interface.
Correct. They call that the singularity, apparently, where we start interfacing with this technology because we realize that we are not a spacefaring species. Ultimately, we don't do well in space.
No, we can't survive that long. I mean, at least in our technology, we do not have an ability to live to get to any of the deep planets. Past. No, I mean, I don't think really any ones past like the Mars or Jupiter. I don't think we can even in our lifetime could make.
Right. And, Elon and them are making it to where we might be colonizing Mars in our lifetime, which would be incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I'm not going.
Sign me up. Sign me up. I'd love to give it a try. I'm the complete opposite. I'd love to be one of those first 100,000 to start a human species on another planet, just to become. Your name would go down in legend, man.
Oh yeah. But back to the singularity part, like people, they're fearing. I think I've even heard the earliest it would be like the mid 30s, like the 2030s. But once the AI, like even ChatGPT, can improve upon its own code, and then it just it's like a right now there's like a little kindling going on, and it's just a small little fire, and then once that AI gets to that point where it it's no going back to that point. Once it can improve its own code, it is just the speed of which it can improve itself would be just so unimaginable by human mind.
Exponential.
Yeah, it's just so fast. It's like I think Moore's law says every 18 months processing doubles, if not more than that. I think.
Yes, that is Moore's law. Yes.
I think, and so and that's a human time. So when it's in an artificial time, it's going to rapidly, so immensely fast. It's just, you don't even know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. It can be good things, bad things. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of pros and cons, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, and back to that, I'm not only with AI, ultimately it has to be our goal to evolve to an interplanetary species. With the assistance of AI, I believe that is possible. More so than ever. However, in that same process, just like you were saying about when the singularity point actually occurs, which is unknown what will actually occur, that's the definition of a singularity from what I've understood. And, just like you said, they were thinking it would be decades before this happened. I'd be willing to put money on it. It happens before 2030. At the rate that we're going now, imagine where we're going to be 7 years from now.
Okay, someone's going to give one of these AI bots a prompt where it can improve itself, and that's going to happen sooner than later. And like I think I mentioned just like 2 minutes ago, the worst it's going to be is right now. Right. AI is never going to be worse than it is now. It's only going to be better from here on out. It's going to be. I mean, every month it's getting updates, if not even faster than that, and then it's just boom, 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 and all these big billionaire companies are investing billions of dollars into it. I think I saw just recently, I think it was maybe a couple months ago, Microsoft invested $10 billion or something like that into ChatGPT.
Right. They were one of the main
they're
financiers.
kind of blending it into their own Bing search engine and stuff like that to make Bing better, so it can finally be relevant and be used. Because they're trying to what I've heard they're just trying to come after Google on that one, but whatever that's AI. They're just going to destroy the world for getting some of that Google money.
Well, that leads credence if this inevitability. I think at this point we've already opened Pandora's box. It is inevitably going to happen. This moment of singularity that we're talking about.
The fire's been lit,
and I wonder, will we be able to teach the robots emotional compassion?
Yeah.
Because we are at some point, we might be headed in that direction. I heard that when the singularity happens, 90% of all occupations will have no need for a human being. Oh. That includes doctors, that includes lawyers, that includes anything but basically occupations you do with your hands, manual labor, construction, electricians. That would be the hardest thing at this point for robots to do. But like I was saying earlier,
in our minds,
there's AI programs already more capable than our best doctors. Imagine what it'll be like when this AI has its own conscience, as we're worried about. And so at that point, I'm worried about, are we facing a freaking Terminator? Are we about to relive the literal movie?
Robotic bodies stepping on skulls and stuff?
Or because there's, never before in humanity have we built something that we didn't understand. No machine, no algorithm, nothing. Nothing that we have built as human beings has ever not been understood. But AI, we don't fully understand.
I
Even the smartest people don't fully understand it. Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if the AIs we have right now, there's definitely probably some that we don't fully understand as they're developing and we're letting it learn, kind of. But I think still, definitely I think by the 2030s, I can definitely see that happening. It'd be interesting,
Yeah.
Hell, we still got problems in the next 5 years with the AI technology we have.
Right. Got plenty of issues.
With what you can do on the computer, with just voices, I think I was watching a podcast the other day where they, got, a couple of their friends and they recorded like a 5-second clip, and they basically, within that 5-second clip they uploaded, they could basically get that person in his voice to say anything.
Oh,
yeah.
I heard about that.
That's going into, I don't want to get too political or anything, but going into 2024, we're going to have a horrible problem with AI, I think. It's just going to be deep fakes, this person saying this, and it's to a point where, you got these old men that already stumble over their voices already.
Yep.
Talking, not voices, but they're stumbling over their own tongues, trying to talk. So the AI is going to be able to get that real quick. And I've already heard deep fakes of presidents, the last 3 playing Minecraft together on a YouTube video. Yeah, and it's like, watch out for that creeper, Joe. And
That's
it's
funny.
and it's like Obama and it's like Biden and it's like Trump all playing Minecraft together, and it's not really them, but it's literally their voice, and it's spot on. If you're a famous person in the next 5 years, AI is basically already knows exactly how to fake you, make it any image they basically voice, they can you can say whatever. It's going to get to the point where you almost have to did you watch it live? Even then, I'm sure in the next 2 years they're going to make it to where they can even adjust things live in real time.
Right, absolutely.
Because even when you watch stuff in real time, there's always that lag. There's always that, there's some hesitation. Unless you're in person in that place, even if you're just, you would have to be there. In the next couple of years, it's going to get that bad.
Yep,
to where
absolutely.
we thought, the last couple cycles of elections have been bad was, just fake news and stuff like that. AI is going to make that 10 times worse.
Absolutely.
If it already has it, because I've already been seeing clips of people a lot of them just been playing around, but I've been seeing fake clips of either Biden saying something pretty intensely and it end up just being, oh no, this was actually a fake.
Right.
And it's because,
no.
like I said, it's just going to be, even before we get to the singularity, and you mentioned are we going to be able to train the AI to, have a compassion? We have barely compassion for our neighbors in America. The Republicans can't get along with the Democrats.
How well do we get along as a human species?
Right? It's we got other countries basically at war with each other, and it's okay, how are we gonna? The AIs are gonna be like, ooh, I don't want any of that.
And what that touches on another point, just like you were saying, I heard about a couple getting scammed from a deep fake. They only have to call you and get your voice on the phone for 10, 15 seconds, and then they can imitate you so well that your folks will think that you are in prison. They did it to a couple
I
of
heard
people.
that couple that they saw their son was in jail for something like a DUI or something. They had to bail him out, and it wasn't even that. And they just sent the money away.
Yeah. That is incredibly scary to me. Even as a millennial, that is incredibly scary to think about. Bro, can you imagine talking about this 20 years ago?
Nope.
No.
Not at all.
No, this is crazy. You know,
even just 5 years ago.
No, yeah, even
like
5.
That whole every 18 months, technology just.
Yeah, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I wonder, where does it lead us as a species ultimately?
Well, I mean, it could be, like some things I've thought about with the AI. It's definitely, because of where we find ourselves at. You talk about a lot of like our limits of like, we can't get to space because we don't have the technology, but that's human minds with it. I mean, if it gets to a point where AI is 10 times smarter than humans and they can are working on such a fast pace, they can go through all these different steps and have in 5 seconds they can we could be flying and like, oh crap.
Right.
It could have been that easy. We could have been flying this whole time.
Just created a computer program smart enough to think about it.
That's all it was. And we were like, oh wow, maybe we just didn't have that mindset. So like with that, there's a lot of those negativities. There's could be a lot of positivity things. AI is just going to be what we feed it basically, and it's humans basically. So at the same time, so it might not be like, oh, I'm going to take over the world. It might be like, hey, we need to improve the world. Like, hey, none of you guys need to work. You can just stay like Wally and be fat and floating in a chair.
No,
obviously. The stuff is not always super great in that movie, but that's basically what they're.
I remember Elon said something about at a summit in Saudi Arabia that he thought that eventually AI would create the need for us as a species to have a universal based income because there would be no occupations. There would be so much joblessness at that point from what we standardize as our current occupations that there would be no need for most of them. Just like, so I do wonder.
Any thinking job is going to be obsolete. Like, anytime, if you have to think about, if you got a thinking job, nowadays it benefits you, but like, doctors, like you said, doctors are already going to be out.
Lawyers, doctors.
Lawyers, like the judge. They're trying it out, but they're so backlogged. I don't know why I'm struggling so bad with that word. But they're so backlogged in India that they got thousands of trials just waiting. They're going to start. I think they're going to eventually start rolling out. Well, okay, this is what the AI says.
Right.
You're guilty, not guilty, guilty. And it's no more emotion on that one. I'm sure there's cases where emotion does play a lot to the judge. It's like, that kid's a young person, I want to send them away, or whatever. But with the AI, there's no at least for right now, there's not any of that emotion. Like, it's very like you said, those 3 levels. It's definitely probably closer to mid, or it's not as smart as a human. It's definitely smarter than probably a lot of humans.
Man. We've already been beaten in chess, for one.
Yeah, but that happened a long time ago, I think. The first time I think
like 2017.
Okay, I guess
it was like long. 6 years ago.
Well, that was
So
time
there are computers and quantum computers that are as capable, if not more capable, than our best people. I'll say that
absolutely. I mean, like I said,
with the parameters of being controlled, and that's what I hope for, is that we continue the parameters of our own self. Interest is being put at the forefront of the development, and that's what I worry about as a person. These people, these pioneers, going and pushing us to the limit. Are they keeping our self-interest? Because if it's capable of defending itself or progressing on its own, like you said, what's to say it feels like it needs us? What if it just wants to eliminate us as a object of standing in its way overall? Can you imagine an AI attack? That would be scary. Every nuclear rocket going off at the same time, just like Skynet did. Sorry, folks, to mention Terminator again, but we love you, Arnold. But yeah, man, I definitely am on the fence about it. But I definitely view agriculture, economics, medicine, all those things could really benefit from it. Spacefaring. With that implant that we're going to start, with Neuralink and stuff, I really feel that is the beginning of our integration of AI into us as human beings on a physical level. You already have a phone, you already have a smartwatch, but a chip that becomes part of your biology is a whole different step. And I'm optimistic about it for medical purposes and stuff like that. It could really change the game for some people.
I've heard what his plans are to help cure people of who some odd reason they have some paralyzation from like neurological problems,
Accidents.
Blindness from neurological problems that they want to correct. I'm down for that. Even just replacing. Obviously this is more of like an advanced type of, fusing with technology, but like replacing body limbs. They're
That's
adding.
possible.
People are getting like hearing aids basically installed into the side of their head, basically are 10 times better than what they would have been
10
when we were
years
kids.
ago. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And then-
absolutely.
And then just becoming biomechanical almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, I definitely feel like, if we're ever going to get into deep space, that's basically our route really is AI, or in some other like out of body types of things that doesn't involve, exploring, outside of like a spiritual realm type
Yeah.
of scenario. But
Maybe autonomous robots and stuff like that with AI programmed into them, to give us haptic feedback and stuff for colonization. I agree. Yeah.
But guys, honestly, we probably could talk about this for like another hour. Not maybe another hour, probably straight, but at least 30 minutes solid. But I think we're gonna wrap up today. If we can find some more, interesting videos, or if we get enough positive feedback from this, we can do a part 2 of AI. We also have a lot of other things we're going to talk about, so definitely in part 2 might be a later episode, but definitely let us know what you guys think. If you have some opinions on AI, what you guys think where we're at. Are you afraid AI is going to basically take over the world, or are you completely cool with it? You want to blend, like, hey, I'm going to be one with AI. I want to get my Neuralink. Just let us know what you guys think. And that's going to end up with this episode 4 of In the Trees. I'm Derek. That's Matt. Guys, if you like it, give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. See you guys next